Hello and welcome to a new reading vlog. This one is the start of a new series on this channel. If you've been around on BookTube, you would have seen some of those videos where creators are trying to get their TBR down as much as possible, so they're reading books off of on their shelf, and if they don't like it, or if they don't end up finishing it for one reason or another, they end up unhauling it. Well, I have been looking at my Goodreads and realizing that I have a ton of books on my want to read that I am not prioritizing. So welcome to the series that I am giving it a really goofy title, calling it Read It or Delete It, in which I have to read the books on my Goodreads TBR in some order, where we made a spinner wheel that will pick and choose how I do this per episode. So for this episode, we are focusing on my owned books, which isn't one that I necessarily wanted to start with, but I'm kind of okay with that. Basically, I have to read the books or unhaul them from my shelf in this instance. If they were books that I got from the library, or books that I don't necessarily feel the need to own, and at least want to give them a chance and get from my library or Libby, or however I get them, they have to disappear from either my Goodreads count or, in this case, my bookshelf. So I have my Goodreads pulled up here, and basically we're gonna give it the first 10 books that I own is what we're going to read, and I already kind of see a problem with this. So first of all, That Night in the Library, that one I can easily do. So that one is a pretty easy. This is a mystery thriller set in a library. It is less than 300 pages, super easy. But then I also see The Trouble with Tinsel here, and I think that one is currently wrapped up. So I will not be able to read that one. And then I see It's Not All Fun and Games. That one I think I can do. I think that one's in the studio. So give me a moment. It's Not All Fun and Games. This one is one of Benson's books, so even if I don't get to it or don't like it, I can't unhaul this one anyway. But we'll read that as long as Benson's okay with me taking it out of the plastic. What else do we have? I cannot read that one because Benson and I are planning on reading that together, and we've got too much going on. Beyond the North Wind, that is also wrapped up. Cannot read that right now. A Holiday Mix-Up is actually on my February TBR anyway, so I can definitely read that for this vlog, because I'm not starting reading the books until February anyway. We've got Wench and Just Like Home. Those are okay. This one was an arc that I found in a little free library down the street, so it's not the biggest deal if I have to unhaul it. This one, though, I have been saying forever that I wanted to read this, and I have not, so I need to read it this time. And if I don't, it's gotta go. This one's for a book club, so I can't pick that up right now. That one is also wrapped up. I own that. I don't want to read that. I can't unhaul it because it is a book that Benson owns, but I think I am going to take that one off of my TBR already. Yeah, okay. I do own The Scarlet Letter, but I have video plans for that one. That's another one I need to read with Benson. Wolf and the Woodsman I got, I think, a couple birthdays ago, so we can definitely fit that one in. Book number 7 is Godzilla. That's perfect. Atlas 6, I think, is wrapped. Noted for Christmas, another Christmas book. Book number 8 is another Christmas book. I guess if I'm going to read it, I might as well read it in the winter months. Alright, what else do we have? Where Dreams Descend. This is another one that has been on my TBR forever. Alright, and this will be the last one. Let's see what it is. Another one of Benson's. Okay, and that is The Innocent Mage. Okay, so again, this isn't necessarily an episode I wanted to start off on, because the whole point of this is to focus on my Goodreads TBR, not necessarily on my own TBR, but we're killing two birds with one stone, and we're getting some books off of my TBR and some books off of my Goodreads TBR. I'm not starting this until February. I just wanted to see if I needed to get any of these books from my library, but I don't, and that is totally okay. I know which book I'm gonna start with. No, I'm aiming to do this in the first week of February because the first or second week of February, because the third week of February we will be on vacation from the 14th to the 22nd, and then I have like a whole different bunch of reading plans. I won't necessarily say that I'm going to read all 10 of these books, but we're gonna see how many we can get through and get some of these books off of our TBR. Hello, okay, it is officially the first of the month, meaning I'm officially starting this vlog. So I've been going back and forth between completing one of my January goals, which is to watch the anime that I wanted to finish. Benson brought, I was planning on doing it yesterday, to round the month out, but Benson brought home the flu. So all I did yesterday was sleep. So I am finishing Buddy Daddies, which was my anime for January, and I'm planning on finishing it today, and if I can finish it today, then I'm just going to count it for January, and nobody needs to know, and that's fine. But I have started on my January reading, or my February reading, and that is The Night in the Library, or That Night in the Library. I'm going to try to go in order of when, in order that I picked out the books, which, works for me. I also realized I probably didn't explain the concept of this video the best. Basically, I'm going to be trying to complete as many of the 10 books, but probably not all 10 books in this video. We'll see how my reading goes in the terms of this week. If I only manage to read 1 or 2 books, then I'll probably end up extending this to be a 2-week vlog instead of a 1-week vlog, and then reading as many of the 10 as I can. But I know I'm not expecting myself to read all 10 of the books that I chose. I'm just going to read as many of them as I can, and that's pretty much going to be the idea of any future installments of this style of video. I'm going to pick about 10 of them, and if I can't find all of the volumes or all of the books or any of the books, then I'll at least have other options to choose from. Either way, I'll be trying to get through as many of these 10 books as humanly possible. And I do have some audiobooks to help me out with that. Either way, I have started That Night in the Library. I'm about 76 pages of the way through a 270-page book. And this is really interesting so far. So basically we follow these 7 students. 3 of them are about to graduate from their school, specifically from their library program. And they decide to sneak into the library's basement, which they are not allowed to do, and spend the night so they can complete a Greek ritual. And then one of them ends up dying within minutes of them being in this basement, or within minutes of the ritual starting. And we just got to that point now, 75% or 75 pages of the way into it, and I am intrigued to see the direction that this could take. I'm not really sure if it's gonna go in like a paranormal direction, or if we're expected to believe that one of the other students that are in the library at the time ended up committing the murder. I don't know where we're gonna go. It is a very short book, and it is reading pretty quickly, even though the writing is relatively small. I will say I typically like a more character-driven story where at least some of the characters are likable, and I don't think there's a single character in this book that is that likable. But I'm not hating it. I don't dislike it. I will say the endings of mystery books especially have the potential of making or breaking the story. And yeah, we'll see which direction this one takes. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It is making me want to fly through as much as I possibly can. But the way I have been going is I've been watching an episode of Buddy Daddies, and then I've been reading like 30 pages of the book. And that's probably how I'm going to continue on until I finish one or the other. It is already almost 4 o'clock though, so I don't know. I might not finish it. I might not finish one or the other today. But we're working on it. We'll see. And yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. We'll see where this goes. Like I said, having a really fun time with it. I'm going to finish these. I think I have another 20 pages of this section before I switch back over to Crunchyroll. But okay, we'll talk to you later. Goodbye. So it is officially the 2nd of February. I did finish That Night in the Library last night, and actually late last night, probably around 12:30, so it did technically go into the new day while I was doing my little reading sprint type thing. Yeah, and finishing Buddy Daddies and everything. But I did finish it. And one of the things that I forgot to mention when I was filming the intro for this video was the way my books were sorted on Goodreads at the time was by average rating, and it happened to be on the lowest average rating. So that means that this book, out of all the books on my Goodreads, was the second lowest rated with, I believe it was like a 2.7 something on Goodreads, and I couldn't disagree more. I really loved this book. I really enjoyed it. It kept me on a cliffhanger, or it kept me wanting to read, and I don't know if that was the actual book or maybe it was just the way I was reading it and giving myself some space to keep coming back, but I was hooked every single time I had to put the book down to watch an episode. I didn't want to put the book down. I was invested and I wanted to know what happened, and I did not see the end twist coming until the very end. And I think that, I don't know, I think it was really well done. I had a lot of fun with it. I said before that the characters aren't very likable, or I thought that they weren't very likable. They weren't likable until they were, and by then, unfortunately, it was too late for them. So it was a very interesting, compelling, fun story. So I don't get why the average rating is so low. Most of the ratings that I scrolled through, and I usually never scroll through ratings because I like to have my own opinion and not be dissuaded. But most of the reviews that I scrolled through were 2 stars, and I don't, or DNFs, and I don't know. I had a lot of fun with this. Would I necessarily recommend it, knowing how bad the ratings are? No. But I settled on a 4.5 star. Honestly, there's something in my gut telling me just to make it a 5 star because there's no reason in my brain other than I wanted more of the Greek mythology aspect that was promised. Other than that, I can't think of any solid reason why it wouldn't be a 5 star, but I can't commit to making it a full 5 star, and I don't know why. It's just the way my brain is, like, I don't know. But I have started the next book, which is It's Not All Fun and Games. This is a nonfiction book that Benson got at PAX, and Yeah, it's been sitting in the plastic up until last night when I opened it up, and it's like 360-ish pages. A lot of those are pictures. So I would say that I could get through this pretty quickly, but I'm not going to guarantee that because I don't know what my day is going to be like. I'm still really not feeling 100% my best. So I don't know how much time is going to be spent reading, or if I'm going to do the same thing I did yesterday and do some sprints. I also have to do a lot of editing. So I don't know what the plan for today is going to be. I think I'll read for a couple of hours. And at least try to edit one video because I do need to get my February TBR. It's Not All Fun and Games is, like I said, a nonfiction book about the author's experience with working in working in the toy and video game industry. And I don't really know who this author is. Like I said, Benson owned it. It seemed really interesting to me, so I decided to add it to my own TBR. And so far, it's very interesting. I'm not very far in. I'm only 36 pages in. But like I said, there's a lot of illustrations. It's reading very quickly. So like I said, I could probably read this really quickly, but I'm also not going to say that because you never know what's going to happen. All right, my phone is about to die. And Benson's upstairs trying to sleep. They did not have a very good night's sleep last night, so I'm gonna go get some reading done and charge my phone and see where the day takes us. Okay, I am about 50% of the way through It's Not All Fun and Games, and it's taking me longer to read it as I expected it would, because even though it's kind of a short book, there's a lot of pictures and everything. It just takes me longer to read nonfiction, and I don't know why that is, because even if I'm interested in it, I'm also not mainly focused on reading, and I think that's part of the problem. And this is typically what happens. I start out really well, like I'll get through a whole book, and then I expect myself to read so much more, and then I just don't. Either way, I'm really enjoying this. This, like I explained earlier, is about our author's experience in the game and toy industry. And something I really like about this is even on games that he has worked on himself, he's not afraid to find the critiques in them. And he's very much like, he's told us his experience about working on the games, but he's also been very much like, these were the problems with the games, this is why it didn't succeed, or why it did, and blah blah blah. But I really like that aspect, and it is very interesting getting to see all his experiences, not only with working on the game, but with meeting celebrities and getting like little celebrity anecdotes and everything. And it was, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I would like to finish it tonight, but like I said, me and nonfiction, we're friends, but we're not fast friends. We're not like bestest friends. Typically, I like audiobooks to help me with a nonfiction, because those usually help me concentrate on them, but this one does not have an audiobook, at least that I have found, so I can't even listen to the audiobook while I flip through and look at the pictures. I have sent Benson on their way. They are with Connor and their other friends playing D&D tonight. So it's just me recovering from the flu that they gave me. But either way, I'm feeling a lot better. I still called out of work today just to give myself one more day of recovery. It's just the lingering cough that's killing me. I also was, you can see the puzzle board behind me, that was a gift for Christmas. I was going to start working on one of the puzzles that I got for Christmas, and then of course my cats know when exactly I want to do something without them because they're little gremlins, so they made themselves very comfy in my room when I was trying to work on my puzzle. But I did also start the audiobook for the holiday mix-up. And if I never explained what this is about our main character, Katie, who's kind of always had this crush on this guy who comes into the diner that she works at. And one day he comes in and he's like, hey, I need your help. I need you to pretend to be my girlfriend because my family is, trying to rush me into marriage and dating somebody, and I just need somebody who looks stable enough to pretend to be my girlfriend for one Christmas dinner. And she hopes that means that, they will potentially fall in love for real. However, about 5 minutes after she agrees to pretend to be his girlfriend, he ends up getting into an accident and falling into a coma. And by then, of course, he has already told everybody that he is bringing this girl to Christmas dinner and that she is his girlfriend. And now she's stuck in this situation because she can't tell them that she's not his girlfriend. So the more she kind of comes in contact with his family, the more she starts to fall in love with his brother. And it's very cute so far. Definitely not a ton of Christmassy vibes, though there is a little bit of Christmas winter elements. And it is very insta-lovey. So far, it just seems like our male main character is really, obviously he's attracted to her right away, but he's kind of starting to fall for her in terms of she's had some trauma. And it seems like that trauma is kind of, not like he's trauma bonding to her or anything, but it seems like it's more like he feels bad for her and he's thinking that she's like this kind of helpless girl and that he kind of needs to swoop in and save her a little bit. If you don't like insta love, like, you're probably not going to like this because this is very much them starting to fall for each other after 2 conversations. Either way, it's cute. Do I see myself keeping this on my shelf after I finish it? Probably not, but I'm only 30-something% of the way through, so that could change. I do want to get more into this. I would like to finish this between today and tomorrow. If I really sit down and focus on this, I probably could finish it tonight because I've got less than 200 pages. A lot of those are pictures. I could do it if I sit down and focus on it. on having another, like, flare-up of whatever this cold flu damn thing is. And I have to work in 2 hours. Thankfully, it's another, or it should be another easy, quiet shift where I'm left alone, if that's possible. God, I hope so. Man, I am dying, but this vlog has to go on. I did finish the holiday mix-up last night while I was at work number 2, and it was cute. I don't have a lot of things to say about it other than what I already did. It did feel very insta-lovey, and a lot of things were kind of just glazed over. Like, there's a part towards the middle of the book where we find out a certain character did a certain thing involving his family, and like that kind of, I'll just say I just didn't get kind of the solution that I wanted to get from him, and like the solution just wasn't very, I'll say, well handled from the book perspective, not necessarily from the character perspective. But whatever, it's fine. 3-star. Will it stay on my shelf? Probably not. Like, I don't see myself ever reading it in the future. Like, there are so many other good Christmas romances that I could read and would want to read during the holiday season. That brings me to the next book that I technically should have picked up after that one, and that is Just Like Home. This one, I keep saying, oh, like, I'll pick that up next, I'll pick it up next, maybe I'll grab the audiobook, maybe I'll read it physically, because I did get the audiobook for the next book, which was Wench, and I just don't want to. Every time I think about picking this book up, I just think I don't want to. I don't particularly care about picking it up. So I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to unhaul it, and it's going to get deleted from Goodreads. And honestly, I'm okay with that. However, this is an ARC. I got it from the little free library that's down the street from us, and I'm probably just going to put it back there. I mean, no, I'm definitely going to put it back there unless, like, a friend or family wants it. It's just going to get donated again. I am currently listening to Wench. I'm going to be continuing that once again when I go to work later tonight. If they didn't really need help, I would not go because there's a snowstorm and I do not feel good. But I will be reading and listening to that. This follows Tanya, who is a tavern wench and the owner of the tavern that she's pretty much grown up in most of her life. The owner took her in. He unfortunately passes away, and she ends up getting these corpsmen who come in and pretty much just take everything, and she's determined to find a way to get it back. So I've been reading it. I've been really enjoying it. There is a bit of a magical fantasy aspect to it, which I'll probably talk about a little later. In terms what I'm going to read physically while listening to that audio, I have, technically the next one is Wolf and the Woodsman. But then the book that's supposed to be right after that, if I've been going in order, is Godzilla Library Collection, Volume 2. I read the first one and really enjoyed it. One of the cats is in the room. Probably Binks. But this is the next one. And honestly, if there is a graphic novel or a manga on any TBR, those are one of the ones that I would like to get to. Like, I have to end this vlog. Hi, baby. Well done. You say hi. I have to end this vlog in the next day or two anyway. And if I found out that there's a graphic novel on this TBR that I did not get to, I'm going to be a little sad about it. So I might just get through that wouldn't have happened if you didn't knock it over. So I'm going to try to get through Godzilla before I do Wolf and the Woodsman, because that's another guaranteed book down. And I'm sure Benson will be happy about it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to talk to you later because I don't want to talk anymore. Okay, bye. So it's a little later than I wanted to end this vlog, if I'm being honest. But, yeah, I've just been way too sick to even think about vlogging. And I've barely read anything since we last spoke. I was going to finish Wench that day that we talked, and then I ran out of Spotify hours. And I'm actually really sad about it because I had like an hour left. So I probably could have finished it and just read it physically. But I didn't do that because, like I said, just, yeah. And then I was going to read earlier today, like I was in the mood to read earlier today, and then I just didn't. But I did end up finishing Godzilla Library Collection Volume 2. I did enjoy this one, not as much as I enjoyed the first one. I think it's really interesting to see what I prefer in the format of a short story collection versus what I don't. The first library collection was like a short story collection, and I really enjoyed that format of it. This one is more of a linear story, and I don't feel like I enjoyed it as much because we didn't get as much of a variety with the monsters as we did in the first one. I still had fun with it. I think I did give it a 3-star as opposed to the first one being a 4-star, but it was cool. It was fine. I will be continuing on. I think there is a third. Yeah, there is a third installment in this. So, yes. In terms of what I have finished, I actually managed to get 5 books off of this list that I made for myself out of 10, which is fine. Yes, I would have liked to have gotten more, but honestly, for a week of reading, it's not that bad at all, considering I only had 2 audiobooks. That was great. So out of those 5, we will be keeping 3. And we are getting rid of 2, which is fine. Well, technically, with that half, we are keeping Wench so far. Unless something happens, no. Well, we're keeping Wench until I finish it, and then we'll decide what to do with that from there. But we managed to get 5 books off of the TBR. I am already planning the second installment of this, which is going to be a little bit different. So hopefully we will get more books off of the TBR with that. But with this video, we ended up reading some books that I probably wouldn't have gotten to in a long time, if at all. We found a new favorite with That Night in the Library. We found an interesting new nonfiction that, again, I probably wouldn't have gotten to for a while, The Holiday Mix-Up. Typically, I like to read those in December, obviously, with it being Christmas romance. Just like Home, I finally decided that we were just going to get rid of it because I don't particularly care to pick it up, even though I thought I did. And we got the graphic novel off of the TBR with Godzilla. I would really like to finish Wench as soon as humanly possible because I am so far into it and could definitely finish this within one sitting because I'm on page 318 and I think there's only 376 pages, so less than 100 pages, and I totally could finish this if I really wanted to, but I can't keep this vlog going on anymore. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And it's a good question for the comments. If you want to talk to me in the comments, let me know what the book that has been on your TBR for the longest is, and if you have plans on reading it anytime soon, or if it's just collector's edition, which is fine. Totally fine. Okay, we'll see you later. Goodbye. Mwah.